Thank the gentleman. I now recognize the gentleman from New Jersey, the ranking member, for 5 minutes for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad the committee is finally getting back to work after the Republicans shut down for more than 40 days, but I will continue to be critical of Speaker Johnson because he kept the House out of session during the entire shutdown and did not work with Democrats to make health care more affordable during that period. And after such a long and painful hiatus, it's unfortunate that our Republican colleagues have decided that the first order of business in this committee is a vote on their so-called broadband infrastructure permitting reform legislation. If Republicans are really serious about ensuring every American has access to affordable, high-speed internet service, they would join us in fighting the Trump administration for its unacceptable delays of broadband deployment projects that were ready months ago. And this is the same package of partisan bills that Republicans pushed last Congress. And after investing so much time and energy in this committee on the issue, our Republican colleagues never even put it on the floor for a vote. And there are two very simple reasons for that. First, the package is full of bad ideas that are unpopular with members on both sides of the aisle, putting arbitrary deadlines on state, local, and tribal governments to start and finish complicated permit reviews under threat of an automatic construction approval is opposed across the board by the local officials who are responsible for doing the work. Other provisions would gut any local community's ability to protect historic and culturally significant sites, especially for tribal communities. And altogether, these are the kinds of ideas that sound like reform only in Washington. Now, these bills also went nowhere because they don't meaningfully address true barriers to broadband deployment that stakeholders have consistently raised with the committee for almost a decade. For instance, the partisan Republican permitting bill does not attempt to fix the instability in the market around pole attachments, nor does their legislation even make a modest investment to hire sufficient numbers of qualified staff to speed up permit reviews inside federal agencies. And this is especially disappointing given that the Biden administration did make those investments only to have those personnel fired by Trump's political appointees. But our colleagues will sit across the room and go on and on about red tape as if these delays of today are not a direct result of Republican actions, when in fact they are. Now, right now, broadband deployment all across the nation is being delayed by the Trump administration, and congressional Republicans are standing on the sidelines and watching it happen. Earlier this year, the Trump administration delayed more than $42 billion in broadband funding that we passed as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law that was ready to go out to states as part of the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment, or BEAD program. The administration made states go back to the drawing board on their state program plans, delaying broadband deployments. The Trump administration's new policy requires states and territories to select the cheapest bids, regardless of whether those bids are the best quality or even most effective, cost-effective over time. And Republicans spent years demonizing the Biden administration for the time it took to carefully execute a massive, highly prescriptive broadband program to connect all Americans to affordable, reliable, high-speed internet. But now, almost a year later, Republicans have not connected a single household to high-speed internet. In fact, the Trump administration continues to delay the program, guaranteeing that rural and low-income communities get slower and less reliable internet service, and they're breaking the law to do that, in my opinion. And despite Republicans' ongoing sabotage of the BEAD program, House Democrats have shown time and time again our commitment to the goal of ensuring everyone has access to fast, reliable, and affordable internet service. Democrats will continue to work across the aisle to address any real structural barriers to deploying communications infrastructure across the country that would stand in the way of progress. Now, I want to say I support the 6 bipartisan bills that we'll be considering today. These bills aim to address issues that cause unnecessary delays and difficulty in the permitting process dealing with federal agencies, like updating antiquated systems and requiring standard transport fee structures across the board. So I appreciate the fact that we have those bipartisan bills, but obviously cannot support the first bill for the reason, or I guess today it'll be the last bill, for the reasons that I set forth, and I will have some amendments, Mr. Chairman. With that, I yield back.
Look